Hello, my name is Kanika Agrawal and today we are going to discuss about data types in C Sharp. In the previous video, we studied about variables in C Sharp. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend you watch that video first and then watch this one. The link is provided in the description box. If you search online, you will find a lot of characterization and you will end up in a huge confusion that what is the standard way of dividing data types in C Sharp. I have drawn a chart to simplify the understanding of C Sharp data types. We have three categories in which data types are classified. First, we have value data type, and in this category, there are a lot of types which we can use, but we do not use all of them in a single application. We use them according to our need. Mostly we use int, char, float, decimal, double, byte, structure, enumeration. Next we have pointers. Well, pointers basically used where we want to access the storage where our variable is stored. Then we have reference type. In this category, we commonly use classes, strings. We often use interface, objects, and delegates. Let's understand all these three types in detail. Value type are the variable that hold a data value within its own designated personal memory space. Hence, these data type directly hold their values. Value type is also divided into two types: predefined, which is also called primitive or built-in, and user defined. In predefined, we have char, short, int, long, float, double, decimal. In user defined, we have structure and enumeration. Now the question is, what are predefined and user defined? Predefined is a type of data which is already defined in our C sharp language, whereas user defined is a type of data which is defined by us to suit a particular application need. Let's take 2-3 examples of value data type and see how we declare and define value data type in a C sharp. Suppose we have int k variable which has 10 value. We can simply print it by console.writeLine and by passing the variable name k. You can see we have our output 10. For basic programming concepts, we can use integer variables for arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and also calculating the percentage. Suppose we have int k equals to 10 and I am taking another variable k1 and assigning it value 9 and taking some variable to store the sum of k and k1. Here I will print sum. Now the output will be 19. It is showing the sum. Here the operand is plus sign. If I subtract it, it will show 1. In the same way, if I multiply it, it will show 90. You can do basic operations by using int variable. Next we have char. We can also call it character, which stores a single value. It can be any letter, any digit, any special operator, but it should be a single letter value. If we print it, it will show modulus sign. Now we have float, double, and decimal. These three data types are used to store same kind of value, that is point values. But the only difference is float can store up to 30-bit, double can store up to 64-bit, and decimal can store up to 128-bit of data. I will just show you the example of float. Rest you can try on your own. Here you can see we have some error. The error is we need to add f in the end of our number to show that we are using floating point values. You can see our output is 2.45, not 2.45f. We have discussed predefined value data type. Now let's discuss user defined data type. In user defined, we have structure and enumeration. Structure. Structure is a composite type which consists number of elements of other types. That is, we can have all the value data type or reference data type in our structure according to our application need. Now, how we define structure? We cannot define structure within our function block. So we define it outside our main function. We use struct keyword before our variable name. Here I have taken student details as a variable name, and within curly brackets I will define whatever the data type I want to take. Let's just say I want to take student ID, student name. For that I can use a string value, and then we need student marks to be stored. We cannot store student marks in integer value because it can be a floating value. So we will take float m1, m2, and m3. Here you can clearly see a structure of student details which store student ID, name, and their marks. Now how can we use it? We can make object of this structure in our main method and assign values to student details. We can create student details OB. I have created an object OB, but if I try to access SID, I am not able to access it. Why? Because the data types of this structure is by default private. We use access modifier public keyword to make it accessible in our main method. Now, if we assign value SID, it will not show any error. So, we need to write public before these data types. Now, I can easily assign values to our structure. It is showing error because I forgot to add f. Now, let's print our structure values. To print structure, we use same scenario as we used to define structure values. If we want to print student name, we will use its object and variable name to print the value. In the same way, if we want to access marks, You can see the output Kanika Agrawal and our marks M1 and M2. Next we have enumeration. We also call it enums because enum keyword is used to define enumeration. Enums are used to assign constant name to a group of numeric integer values. It makes constant values more readable. Let's say we are creating an application which generate student report card, and in our report card we have a grading system. We cannot always remember what grade is assigned to which marks. So we can use enums in that. We cannot declare enums in our method, so we declare it within our class. Let's say we have enum grades. Let's say we have A grade which have a value 90, B grade which have a value 80, and C grade which have a value 70. To use this grades enum in our program, suppose that we have a grading system for the subject M3, then we will just write ob.m3 and assign a value grade dot, let's take B. It will show me some error because M3 is floating type and grades.b is a object type. I have to convert this object type to float type. Now the error is gone. Let's print and see what is the output. We have 80. We can also print grade A, B and C on the basis of these marks. All we need to do is take a where is used to store the data which has unknown type. Here we know that A, B and C are string type, or you can say character type, but our program does not know that. So we will store it in unknown type, that grade equal 90. Now we will convert 90 into grades type. It means that it will give us the name which is assigned to 90. Let's see what is our output here. A. If I call it ABC, then ABC. Let's quickly understand the memory management of value data type. Here you can see I have taken a int variable k and assigned it to 10 value. As we know, whenever we use some variables in our program, it occupies a memory, and every memory has an address. We cannot remember that address, that's why we use variable names. Here our variable k directly holds the name for the address where our value 10 is stored. That is it for the part 1 of data types. In the next video, we will discuss about reference and pointers in detail. If you understood the concept of value data type, I request you to share and like this video and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done yet. Thank you for watching.